Thank you very much. I will say also to please welcome Karina Spilza, who is the chairman, president of Adigital, and also partner of CAFAN, the Spanish venture capital. Javier Mejías, part of the startup initiative of Fundación Bankinter, leading the conversation about the scale-ups, and Ana Maikes, CEO and co-founder of Neuroelectrics and also president of STEC. So thanks a lot for having the chance to be here today. There was like a movement of audience that we expect to recover.
Lunchtime.
Yeah. And the main goal of this panel today is having the chance to give visibility and explain how is the startup and scale-up ecosystem in Spain doing, especially because after 10, 15 years of growth and creation of the startup ecosystem, we could say that nowadays we have a good ecosystem of mid-size, middle market companies with the particularities that the tech and innovation have. As previously we heard that nowadays we have more than 450 scale-ups. When we say scale-ups, is this kind of company that has internationalization, talent acquisition, innovation, technology, Series B, C exits regarding the investment. And I think that today is a good opportunity to talk about this because we have a very interesting panel. From one side, Javier, that you are going to start making something that is crucial. Just to fully understand the importance of an ecosystem, we need to measure it. And the way that Fundación Bankinter and Javier and his team are doing that is critical. They have been promoting studies about the contribution, the impact of the Spanish scale-up ecosystem in the last 2 years. And today we are going to understand that part in order to focus the conversation with the intervention and the story of Ana Maikes, who is the CEO and co-founder of Neuroelectrics, a key company in the health and technology sector, making things very critical for healthcare between the US and Europe. And also the side of Karina and her experience regarding venture capital, investment, how the ecosystem is growing, and what kind of trends we could face in Spain, given the importance that for us, and especially for the country, having tech champions, digital champions, is going to be very, very an important element for our competitiveness. So sorry, because I started to talk and I wanted to end before, but Javier, if you want to start, thanks a lot.
Cool, thank you. Let me share some numbers. Okay, sorry. Back here. So just to put into perspective what's been happening in the ecosystem for the last years, these are the numbers of the euros invested on the Spanish ecosystem from year 2018 until last year. And I think it's really good news to see here that last year the Spanish ecosystem totally changed in size and also in ambition. It was like a 4x increase in the investment volume and also in the number of operations. And that's caused mainly because many not so mature companies that we have been creating in the last years, last year reached like the scale-up phase, and they raised rounds, what we call mega rounds, rounds higher than 50 million. And well, it's good to see that these companies are posing already a new set of ambition and scale that probably is going to transform the next years. this is very important because I've been involved in the ecosystem for 20 years, 20-something, and I have seen a huge change on the mindset of the entrepreneurs. Usually, Spanish entrepreneurs were thinking about selling the company early, and right now, most of them are thinking about buying other companies to grow. So there's a big shift here. So things are moving quite well, but right now we are living a period of uncertainty. I think it's something, well, you can see here, this is the evolution of investment and operations closed in the last months. And as you can see here, we are seeing like a downward spiral. We are hearing lots of news about what's happening in the US and Europe, Y Combinator with his letter to its companies, also several investors talking about the death spiral. So are things going to be that bad in Spain? Well, I would say no. Of course, there's a moment right now of uncertainty that most of us investors are taking with caution the doing new deals. But I think there are two very different aspects that set apart what we do in Spain compared to the rest of Europe. First, Spanish startups and scale-ups are much more capital efficient than their counterparts in the US and Europe. This is really important. And also there's another thing that most of the unicorns, the Spanish unicorns, closed big rounds last year. So probably they have already enough cash to cover this period. And also, I would like to share with you some numbers we got. Last year, we made a really interesting study with our partners of Wayra and Endeavor to try to summarize and understand the impact of the scale-ups. Miguel told you that there are 450 scale-ups in Spain. We surveyed almost 100% of them. And we discovered several interesting things. Well, oops, it seems it's not easy to read. Well, interesting things here. The Spanish scale-ups, even in the worst part of the pandemic, were growing like at 10%. But the nice thing is that on average, those companies were creating last year 13,000 employments, only 91 companies. This is an important number, but for me the shocking number, and we were quite shocked to see it, is that each of these companies creates lots of indirect jobs, which means those 13,000 direct employees help to get 658,000 indirect employees, which means, and we'll see later, that for each direct employee we have 300 indirect employees, which is crazy. Also, on the revenue side, those companies were aiming just 91 companies to have a combined revenue of 3,000 millions, just 91 companies, which for me it's a good way to understand the impact of this company. So finally, well, you can see here anything. We have released this report, so you can download this information from scaleupspain.es. What this slide is trying to say is that we have seen that we try to group into buckets those companies. We call them scaler, companies with a combined revenue in the last 3 years of less than 10 millions. Growth companies, less than 50, and what we call rockets of more than 50. Well, the nice thing is that on each jump to the next step, these companies multiply their revenue by 10 and their employment by 4.5. For me, that it's a clear way to see that these companies are not about just the bubble that everyone speaks about this ecosystem. These companies are generating a real impact, both in terms of employment and revenue. And this is really important. And also, it's key with these numbers that all of us will be supporting these companies. because probably these companies are going to be the lever of change. And well, that's it in numbers. Thank you.
Thank you, Javier. I will say that, Anna, if you want to follow, it's clear this idea of impact, growth, employability, tech-based internationalization. I think that your view on that and your stories and your way to growth companies could be very illustrative, no?
Yes, so, oh my God. So, hello everybody. So now, wake up time. So my name is Anna Maikes. I'm the CEO and founder of Neuroelectrics, which is this company. I think they only invite me so I can wear the cap. So this is the technology that we have developed at my company. As you can see, this is a non-invasive brain monitoring, but also brain stimulation device. So we can inject currents into the brain. And we think this has the potential to treat diseases like epilepsy. We are showing that we can reduce seizures, improve depression, or help with Alzheimer's. So from Barcelona, from Spain, we believe we have the power to change medicine, to change therapy, and instead of taking a pill, you will be prescribed stimulation at your home. So one of the interesting things that Javier has mentioned is that startups like mine, we were incorporated 10 years ago in Barcelona, but I moved to Boston 7 years ago. And why? Is it because I wanted to become rich? No. Why? The reason is because if you have a technology as an entrepreneur that can have impacts in millions of patients, why should I only help Spanish patients with epilepsy? No, my goal is to help patients in the US, in Asia, everywhere, right? So it's not only Neuroelectrics. There is a bunch of Spanish companies, and I always say that talent doesn't have gender or geography or color, and there are some female startup leaders here. So talent is everywhere, right? So how do you scale up talent and make these amazing change the world companies? And I think that my quest is to make sure that here in Spain, we shout out. Listen, I live in the US and in Spain, and the Americans, they're excellent, salespeople. They really sell themselves very well. And we Spaniards, sorry to say, we undersell ourselves. So one of the reasons to join STEC is to shout out to the world that from Spain, from anywhere in the world, you can scale up fantastic companies. And examples at the STEC are Wallbox. Let me tell you, Wallbox, when I left to the US 6 years ago, didn't exist. Today, 1,000 employees. Factories in China, in Texas, and revolutionizing the electric car, right, the plug. So I think it's important for everyone in the room to be aware that there is a new economy emerging. And in Spain, we have fantastic companies. Globo, Redpoint, Filmin, Job and Talent, Cabify. They're all members of STEC. So I just wanted to give you some words of encouragement. And just, as Obama used to say, yes, we can. No, it's not only that we can, we are doing it. And I think that through STEC, it is our goal to really make sure we are on the map of the ScaleUps. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
This is precisely what we need. We need people like Anna with this energy. And I'd like to send just a very simple message. As they did in France, they had an objective, 25 scale-ups in a period of time that I think it was 3 years. And they achieved it earlier. And this is, for me, what we have to do in Spain, to have this goal and try to understand the impact of having scale-ups like Neuroelectrics and like Anna's company. And the reason why I'm saying this is not as the president of Adigital, is not as an investor, is like a Spanish citizen. Because the impact that this company have, the scale-ups have, as Javier said, is in the employment, is in the economical activity, but is furthermore on the innovation. In Spain, we are lacking innovation. I think that the percentage of the GDP that is devoted to R&D or to innovative projects is one of the lowest in Europe. And we really need to change that image, and we really need to change that figure. And we really need to believe in ourselves. If we have 25 scale-ups, well, this was the Endeavor report that said that by having 20 scale-ups in Spain, this will contribute to 1% of the GDP in our country, just 20 companies. So imagine if we start growing that figure. And it's about believing in our capacity. It's about creating global companies, and it's not about creating 100 million companies and just selling it and go home. It's about really having the ambition to build global leaders. And it's everywhere. It's in many industries. We have global leaders in data, in travel, in mobility, in delivery, in clean tech, as the case of Wallbox. I'm sure that Anna will be an unicorn very soon, no?
Can you say it's coming?
It's coming very soon.
El cuerno me está.
And the fact of having a unicorn, 20 unicorns in Spain, the fact of having these unicorns is not only the contribution, it's also that the spillover effect that the unicorns have in the whole ecosystem. And it's well known that the VC industry started by a group of people that created one company, and then the diaspora, no, I don't know how you say the diaspora in English, but the diaspora of this company and the mafia that they created at the same time many different companies. It's well known the case of PayPal. The case of PayPal, from the origin of PayPal, many new companies and many investors were developed in the world. In Spain, we are at that moment, we are at that stage where we are creating our own mafias, we are creating our own group of entrepreneurs that are educated, that already have the experience in other companies, and that can boost the whole ecosystem. So it's about having the goal, 25 unicorns in the coming, well, we already have.
I guess it's the next year.
It's next year.
How many we have now?
11.
11. So next year we'll have the 25, maybe the goal should be 30 or 35 in the coming 2 years. But for that, we need support and we need to help the companies. And the scale-ups are every day facing many challenges. And I would say that the 3 most important challenges that they are facing, and correct me, Anna, if I'm wrong, is about talent, is about talent attraction, talent acquisition, not because there's no talent in Spain, it's because we need to make easier for them to attract talent, because we are competing with corporates and with different companies that can afford to have other conditions. So it's about attracting talent and attracting international talent. This is something that might change a bit with the new startup law, but we need to reinforce that part. So talent attraction is going to be one of the key things that we are going to work from STEC. The second thing that this company needs, of course, is financing. And it's true. In Spain now we have a new initiative that is helping quite a lot, which is the Next Tech Fund, that aims to finance Spanish tech companies. And it's true that many funds, like is our case, we launched the first Next Tech Fund in the month of March, okay? So there are many initiatives that are building into the direction of financing scale-ups and creating more unicorns in this country. But it's true that now we are facing challenging moments, but there are 1.7 billion to be invested in Spain right now. Most of them are dedicated to early stage, but still some of them will go to really boost the scale-up ecosystem. But we need more money, we need more financing, and we need to open the idea that investing in this type of companies is profitable from a financial perspective, but also from a social perspective. And this is the third thing that we need to work in STEC. It's about really making the world aware of the impact of these companies. Because we are talking a lot now about ESG, and it looks like the world needs to move towards ESG. Most of the companies that are born from a tech perspective have the ESG embedded in their own proposition. And things like the one that Anna is doing is ESG, is pure ESG. So it's helping people, it's helping the society through technology. And sometimes it looks like creating a tech company in Spain is like bad perceived, no? It's like, well, those guys are trying to to benefit themselves, and they are doing good to society as well. And this is the third thing that we want to work from STEC, the image of these companies, to be closer to the consumers, to be closer to the society, so the people know what is happening in the tech world. And again, this is to boost innovation, and this will come back to all of us in the sense of progress and prosperity to our society. So I really encourage to have this goal for the 25 unicorns that will become 30 and 35 very soon.
Thanks, Karina. In fact, we are going to make an institutional presentation in Madrid, the 4th of July, in the headquarters of ICEX. And the STEC group was created in last March with the contribution of Wallbox, Neuroelectrics, Globo, Cabify, Filming. But now companies like Wallbox, Wallapop, or FinTonic are joining this initiative. I'm just taking perhaps a question about the current situation, the disruptive moments that we live in. This every three months, every quarter, there is something that breaks a little bit the investment company dynamics, and there is perhaps incoming headlines in the newspapers talking about finance, about the possibilities of companies to have problems to growth. Anna, because you are between this transatlantic relation between the US and Europe, your role in Brussels perhaps could be illustrative to understand how do you see this, and also Javier, because you are measuring perhaps these trends. So it's more an open question, but perhaps starting with Anna.
So I think it's right. And in the US, you can feel the markets crashing. A lot of companies that used to raise money with a PowerPoint, I think those times are over for the moment. But I think in Europe, the beauty is that we have this public system. This morning, I don't know who of you saw Mariah Gabriel. She's the Commissioner for Innovation in Brussels. I sit on an advisory board that she manages, and there is 10 billion euros to be invested in startups the next 10 years. So this is something the US doesn't have. So it's going to be super positive for European startups to reach out to NextGen, to the European Innovation Council. I encourage you to apply. There is a lot of money. And I think that can help us pass this time until the markets recover. But I still believe if you have a good company with good data, even my American investors, if you have good data, if you have solid technology, you'll still get funding. So I think that there is no reason to be scared. I think speculation may be over in some parts, but for people that have worked hard to develop a technology with impact, I think there's still going to be money involved. So, you know, when I raised money, so many people told me in the US, Anna, you'll never raise money. You're a woman from Spain. You didn't go to MIT. You didn't go to Harvard with that accent. You are no one in Boston. And I'm like, shoot. And doors were closing. And at the end, I raised almost $20 million from American investors. So don't tell people, you know, don't listen to people who tell you that you cannot do it. It's just persevere and go the extra mile, and you'll make it. So I'm optimistic.
Well, as Anna said, lots of naysayers, but don't care about them. Trying to summarize both my experience from the Bank Inter BC, but also the numbers, some ideas. The first one is that, yes, probably the current economical situation and the geopolitical situation is not that good. The outlook definitely is not good. But there are big things happening here. First, we have 29 new funds, new BC funds, raised in the last 2 years, with a dry power of more than 2.2 thousand million euros to be invested in startups. So there's going to be money. And that we are not taking into account the public money that also is going to be into the ecosystem. Second, we have a lot of Spanish investors, really talented investors, but we are seeing a lot of foreign VCs coming to Spain, because those companies that, as I said, are capital efficient and usually are very ambitious, those companies are really attractive to those VCs. Some of them, you know, they are telling the story of the exit from Silicon Valley to other places. What the data says is that foreign VCs are invested right now more than ever, first, and second, they are investing on Series A, which is way earlier than they used to. So the VCs are here, both the local and the foreign. And third, and for me probably this is the most interesting thing, companies with healthy unit economics are going to be able to raise funds. The companies that have been raising fund to fund, and they are just thinking about how to finance the company, probably these companies are going to suffer. But if you have, I would say, a straight mind and things are clear for you that this is about the business and not about the funds you raise, I think you're going to be quite successful.
Yes, my perception goes in the same line. I think that the most important thing is no panic management, because now we are a bit on panic, and that can take you to wrong decisions. So no panic, but of course adaptability. It's true that for the time being, most of the funds, we are just in a wait-and-see mode, because we want to understand how deep is the impact, and we want to understand what are the new standard for the evaluations, because what is changing dramatically is the multiples that we are willing to pay right now with the current scenario. But I think it's a matter of some time, some months, not many. So we expect that by the beginning of next year, the situation will be a bit more quiet, or at least less uncertain. But I want to send the message, of course, good teams, good products, healthy unit economics, good metrics will win, but we need to be smart and adapt to the new environment, because what for sure is changing is that interest rate scenarios and inflation, we have forgotten for almost 10 years what inflation is, and we have forgotten about having high interest rates, and this is changing a bit. And that will change and create new dynamics that may last a bit more. So my recommendation is no panic, adaptability, and focus on the most important things of your company, that as always are team, product, and taking care of your clients. And with that,
and also, if you're able to raise a little more funds, probably it's a good idea right now.
Yeah, and also always have, I still have a lot of money from my Series A in the bank, but I never rest. I'm always looking for money. I'm always looking for options. So I'm always talking to a pharma to see if I can have a licensing deal, to public money. I'm warming up new investors for Series B. So, I love this pivoting and optionality that they say in the US, and I think it's so right to have options. The more options you have open and you warm up, the better in terms of crisis. Always. So, I never relax, and the bank is full of money. So I think that's kind of a good advice for everyone, because the more cautious you can be, the better. But don't panic. Just keep on fighting. On the other hand, a lot of my competitors are dying, which is good. So
exactly, this is the opportunity.
Like, should. There used to be a lot of us, and now there is few, so that's also good. So
exactly, let's take the advantage of the...
Yeah, so there are opportunities in every crisis.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. It's the last minute. I think it's good, these 10 years of Sub Summit, how in 10 years we have a new company culture, founders, people with international investment perspective. So it's a good reference that we were talking about a small startup 10, 15 years ago, and now we are talking about a new ecosystem that is perhaps a new IBEX 35.
Exactly. In the coming 10 years, Anna will be the new IBEX 35.
Well, they say I have a dream job because I'm the president of the unicorn, so it's like my little pony kind of. I feel like my little pony job. But you'll hear more of STech, and I hope anybody in the audience will be a member of STech and a unicorn in the years to come. So you will be welcome. Thank you.
Thank you
very much. Thank you.